People fumble their blessings when they fumble you. And I think a lot of people really don't understand that. And it's not even like just about the chosen ones, but when you are a chosen one, you have this certain umbrella where people who are in your proximity, people who are close to you, also get your protection. And they get good things that come to them as a result of their proximity to you. But not even just that. When you are a kind, good-hearted person, when you do things out of love and out of the kindness of your heart, not only do you generate good karma, but you just generate dharma in general, right? When you're the type of person who, if you were to see a homeless person, and let's say you had, because I know a lot of people nowadays don't even carry cash anymore, but let's say you had $5-10 cash and you give it to a homeless person out of the kindness of your heart. Like you're just the type of person where everywhere you go, you generate all kinds of dharma and good karma because you do things from the heart. You're not these type of, I don't mean to like talk about anyone, but you're not the type of person who goes out here and, has your camera recording and doing good things. A lot of people, especially nowadays with social media influence, do good things, but they do it for praise. You don't get the same sort of good karma and dharma in return for that because you're doing it for likes, you're doing it for views, you're doing it for praise. You're not necessarily just doing it out of the kindness of your heart. Like, I feel so sorry for these people, who are already homeless, who are already downtrodden, and you really just need someone to shine a little bit of kindness on you. And you can't even have people doing that nowadays without sticking a camera in your face and trying to get you to tell the world how grateful you are for it. Like, it's really, it's just something that really bothers me every time I see it, right? But like, you're the type of person where you just do things out of the goodness of your heart. You're not looking for praise for the things that you do. A lot of people are going through healing right now, right? A lot of people are going through healing right now. And when you heal, when you go through healing, you really, really, really start seeing people for who they truly are, And even when you go through, what do they call it? Like backsliding, the backsliding. I know my grandma's pastor growing up used to say that all the time, like a backslider. But even when people go through their healing stages, you do have times where you may backslide or find yourself falling into the same old patterns, especially when it comes to people around you. When you have people around you, whether it be family, friends, or even exes, there is that kind of period or that kind of time frame, and it's different for everyone. For some it may be months, for others it may be years, where you just kind of have to learn how to put that division between you and the ones around you, right? But there's been like a whole lot of this healing, bringing about this new wave of awareness, right? So I had this ex, and I don't know what it is with this whole return of the ex. This is literally like ex number 3 that has returned. Actually, number 4 if we go back to like 2020. But this is like ex number 3 that has popped up out of nowhere, that I haven't spoken to in years, that just randomly tries to return back into my life. And I found myself initially getting annoyed, but then after that just being like, you know what? I'm just gonna ignore it, and I'm just gonna keep moving with my life as if this like never happened. But I had an ex that like randomly hit me up with that "Hey beautiful" after we haven't spoken for years. And it's so funny because when you go through that healing stage, you start to see the difference between sincerity and tactics, right? Like between people who are coming back and being sincere about wanting a fresh start versus people who are just trying to use these tactics in order to get back in proximity to you, right? And that's really all that this was, because I got the text and I looked at it and I completely ignored it. And then the next day, I had 2 missed phone calls from this person that I completely ignored, because if I didn't respond to the text, I don't know what made you think a phone call would be different. Although, in fairness, I am the type of person where I prefer someone to pick up the phone and call versus texting, but that's like the old school in me, right? So I ignored both phone calls. And then I ended up getting a text on day 3 that was really rude. I just got this text that was like, I know you see me trying to contact you. Can you please act like an adult and stop ignoring me? And it's like, what about me ignoring you signifies I'm not acting like an adult? That should be a clear sign to you that I have no interest in wanting to connect with you, right? It has nothing to do with me not being an adult. And then I just realized, like, this person is not sincere. This person has never been sincere. This person just uses tactics in order to try to get back in proximity to you. Like, you started off trying to be sweet, and then when that didn't work, you try to promote an anger response. And that tends to work in a lot of people. Like, if someone reaches out to you and you ignore it, something about that, people try to get under your skin and they try to promote that anger response in order to get you to respond to them, in order to get you to play into their game. But I'm like, you know what, that's not going to work either. So I didn't even respond to that. I just completely ignored all of it. But it just, people, it's funny. It's funny because I remember talking to this one friend back in college, and she was telling me how something that people were saying was just like, she was like, she's had not like a lot, but she's had more than one ex where after the relationship ended, they started accusing her of witchcraft. And she's not even into like spirituality or the occult or anything. She is Christian, heavy into Christianity, and whatever anyone's spiritual or religious beliefs are, as long as you believe in something, right? As long as you know that there is a higher power. But she was like, she's had more than one ex to accuse her of witchcraft after their relationship ended. And I'm like, the reason for that is because when you're someone who's highly favored, when you're someone who's blessed and highly favored, people, when they're in your proximity, they get the remnants of that. It's kind of like secondhand smoke, right? When they're in your proximity, they get not like secondhand blessings, but they also get access to that. So when you're someone and you just have general good karma and good dharma because you're a genuinely good person, people who are in your proximity get blessings as well. Like, have you ever been around someone, like, let's say you're someone and you're an empath and you just naturally attract people who are just downtrodden. Have you ever noticed how these people will come to you and they may start off complaining, and most empaths just have a thing where you can kind of handle that. Like, it may after a while begin to wear down on you, but there's something about those initial stages where you're just able to handle that when people trauma dump on you. But there's something about, have you noticed that people will come to you and they'll trauma dump on you, and after talking to you and opening up to you and just really letting a lot of that stuff out, you'll notice that things will start to turn for that person. Like, all of a sudden things will start to get better, right? Things will start to look up, things will start to improve. And it's because by being in your proximity, they're starting to get some of your good dharma. It's starting to go their way, right? They're getting blessed because of you, because now that they're in your proximity, they're under your umbrella, right? Your umbrella of protection, your umbrella of blessings. But for people who see that and who continue to who continue to like stay in your good graces, I want to say, they will continue to have that favor, and things will continue. Now, not to say that there won't be things that go wrong here and there, but they will continue to be able to handle that going forward. But the people who are under your umbrella of protection and blessings, who try to take advantage of that, once that relationship, once that cord has been cut, once that tie ends, when they're no longer under your umbrella of protection and blessings, then a lot of negativity, all of that negativity, all of that, those things that they were doing to you, once they're no longer under your umbrella, they're going to start getting the negative karma, and they're going to start getting the backlash for that. And when that happens, they're going to assume that there's something that you were doing, or there's something that you're doing that's causing that, but it's not you. It is literally them getting the repercussions for their actions. So what you'll find is that a lot of people, once they try to go on, or even like, let's say relationship, when they try to go on and find something better, you'll find that they end up with something worse, and then they try to come back. Like, are you someone who you notice where a lot of people in your life try to come back? Like, not even like just recent exes. This could be people. Someone who I haven't dated. I dated someone back in 2005 that literally tried to come back 14, 15 years later. Like, they've tried to come back several times over the years, and each time I'm like, no, I'm no longer interested. But like, still 15 years later, they're still shooting their shot and trying to attempt to come back. Like, you'll find that a lot of people will do that because they're remembering how good things were with you compared to how things are going in their life now, and they want those blessings back. They want those good times back. They want these hard times to be over, right? But let me tell you something. Y'all know how like they say favor isn't fair? It's really not. It's really not. Favor isn't fair. And once you get the opportunity to be near someone, to be under the protection of someone who is highly favored, when you screw that up, you don't get that back. And here's the thing about that. When people fumble you, when people mess you over, you have to, and it takes time, because just like it takes time for trauma to ensue, it takes time. Actually, it takes longer for you to be able to heal from it, right? It takes time. But when someone fumbles you and they misuse you and they mistreat you and they take advantage of you, they no longer get to be under your umbrella of protection. They no longer get that. And if you allow that person back in your life, they don't get to then benefit from you anymore. Or they may, in a sense, because they're back to using you. But what happens is now you start have negative things happening in your life because you're allowing someone back who has mistreated you, right? But healing is like weight loss, right? It takes time to put on the extra weight, and it takes even longer to lose it, right? But once again, favor isn't fair. And when you're someone who's highly blessed and favored, things move for you, right? Opportunities open for you. I remember, I don't know, like, since COVID, and we've had all of this inflation and rental and, rental prices have gone through the roof. And I remember the apartment I was living at previously was, it had been bought out by a new management company, and they jacked up the prices. So I was like, I'm not going to renew at these rates. Like, this is just utterly ridiculous. So I started looking for a new apartment home, and I'm literally driving down the road. I had directions to go to one apartment complex, and I made a wrong turn and ended up going down this side street and found an apartment complex literally down this road that was privately owned. It was owned, and they don't even have a website or anything. So there was no kind of like advertisement or anything for it. But I ended up finding this apartment complex, and I happened to go there, and I started going online and looking for reviews and things because there was no website for me to like go off of. And I remember seeing this review that literally someone wrote like 2 weeks before, and they were like, don't go here, management is rude, if you don't have like a squeaky if you don't have a squeaky clean background, they're not even going to like entertain you, like even if you made mistakes, you know, in your adolescence. And they did like this really just kind of like negative review. And I remember going in and putting in an application, and the manager was actually really nice. And she was like, we just so happen to just have a 3-bedroom that opened up. It was the only thing they had at the moment. But she, you know, did my credit check, did my background and everything. Everything was clear. And not all apartment complex actually do like intense background checks. They do a pretty intense background check here. It's almost like an employment background check. You know, but my income was sufficient. She did my background check, did my credit check, everything was fine. And because I'm a healthcare employee, because I'm a healthcare worker, I ended up getting a healthcare discount. And literally the rate that she gave me for the 3-bedroom was much cheaper than what I was paying for the 2-bedroom that I had at the previous apartment complex. Like literally. And this literally happened all in the matter of like less than like a week, like all like a matter of a week. And all of this just because I accidentally took a wrong turn. Like when I say things open, I remember I was sitting there and I was thinking to myself, like, you know, working in healthcare, everything has gotten so into, you know, COVID changed a lot, and a lot of people started leaving healthcare. You know, we've already had a lot of openings in healthcare, but like now they need so many nurses, they need doctors, they need respiratory therapists, they need lab techs, they need more CNAs, they need radiologists. I mean, the list goes on. And that's just healthcare. I mean, we need more plumbers. We need more electricians. We need more teachers. We need more educators. I mean, literally, the list goes on. And it's so funny because it's like, I remember, like I said, things changing during COVID, things getting overwhelming, and me thinking to myself, like, I just need to take a step back. Like, I need to take a step back. I want where I can work, you know, full-time or part-time, but I want to be able to condense it into just like a couple days a week. Like, I still want to work this many hours, but I want to condense it into where I only have to work 2 or 3 days a week. And literally just last year, because I was at a job and a lot of people started leaving because things were happening, and you know, the requests from management were getting ridiculous. Even as people are leaving, they're still piling more on, even though we are less than 50% staffed, and it just got ridiculous. And I remember finding this position where it was only supposed to be PRN, and then I get there and someone leaves there and they end up short-staffed, and they literally end up offering me the exact schedule that I prayed about and said, like, I literally prayed and said, I would love to have this schedule, so I just have a more balance. Like, I want to be at home more than I want to be at work, you know what I mean? And I ended up getting blessed with the exact schedule that I asked for, right? That I prayed for. So it's like just a lot of things. When you're someone who's highly blessed and favored, when I tell you, opportunities are going to open for you, right? And that's really going to make a lot of people dislike you. It's going to make a lot of people dislike you, but that's their problem, not yours. I remember what is it that people used to say, like mind over matter, right? Mind over matter. I keep hearing mind over matter. I don't mind because you don't matter, right? So people are going to get annoyed, and they're going to try different tactics to get under your skin. But I'm telling you, when you get to that healing phase, things that once annoyed you, angered you, or things that even made you sad and made you cry are not even going to affect you anymore, right? It's not even going to affect you. And I am so happy that like I took this new position, because one of my favorite coworkers ended up coming over to the hospital that I'm at now. And even though we're still short-staffed here, when I tell you, the people that you work with, really makes a difference. Like this person is one of my favorite coworkers. And the reason why is because she's a hard worker. Like, things get hard. Yes, things get overwhelming, but I can't stand to work with the type of people who just want to sit there and complain. Because I'm like, in the 10 to 15 minutes that you sit here complaining about the 3 or 4 tasks that you have to do, you could have done almost all of them, if not all of them, in the amount of time that it took you to sit here and complain about it. I would rather be short stuff. Like we had it just the other night where we had multiple people call out. So it ended up only being like 3 of us there, even though we were supposed to have 7. It ended up only being, 7 would be if we were even fully staffed to begin with, or at least adequately staffed to begin with, because 7 isn't even fully staffed, it's just adequately staffed. But multiple people called out, and it ended up being the three of us, and the 3 of us worked so well together that we got more done with just the 3 of us than we do on a typical night when we have more people there, and it's just like, I love people like that. What do they say, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Like, that's the type of coworkers that I love to work with, the type of people who are like, let's just roll up our sleeves and get it done. And our work styles just complement each other so well. But there are going to be a lot of people who are jealous of your favor, right? There are going to be a lot of people who are those people, like I said, who meet you and don't even know you, but off the bat just decide that they don't like you. Those people are jealous of your favor. And what makes it worse is that the people who do know you, right, who are jealous of your favor, to me, those people are like 10 times worse. But those are the people who are going to spread rumors. Those are the people who are going to spread lies. Those are the people who are going to talk about you behind your backs. But you know what? It really doesn't even matter. And like, it hurts, especially before you go through that healing phase. It hurts, but I promise you, you're going to get to a point where things like that are really just they're going to roll right off. Like, it's not even going to phase you anymore. Like, just recently. So I'm not even going to say who. One of my family members called and was like, hey, are you going to the family? It's not even a family reunion. It's like one of my older relatives is having a birthday party that they're turning into a mini family reunion. And I had a relative that called and said, hey, are you going to make it? It's going to be in Florida, this year. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And they said, what? They said the email was sent out last year. They were like, you need to check your email more often. I said, I check my email all the time. Like, my email's on my phone. I check my email. I'm not one of those people who have, 500-600. I remember someone sent a screenshot on that on Facebook. Like, I want to say like last year or the year before, where they were like, show how many unread emails you have. And people literally have 200, 300, 400, 500 plus unread emails on their phone. See, that type of stuff bothers me. I can't have that. Literally, as I speak, all of my emails have been read. I check my emails, right? So this family member was like, you have to check, I guess, assuming I'm one of those people who doesn't check my emails. They were like, you have to check your emails. So then I had another family member ask me literally not even a week later, like a couple days later in that same week, to ask me, hey, and this was just last month. In May, to ask me, hey, are you going to the family gathering in Florida this summer? And again, I'm like, I don't know what family gathering y'all are talking about. And then all of a sudden, I get a call from my grandmother asking if I'm going to be in attendance. And I told her, I said, I don't have any information about it. So she was like, yeah, there's supposed to be an email. I told so-and-so to send. She said, I didn't have your personal email. And she was like, I don't know why I didn't just call you and ask for it. But she said, the invites were, what do you call those? Evites. There was sent out an evite to everyone's email. And she was like, I spoke to so-and-so. And she said, I told them. And she said, that person said that they would just forward it to you. She said, I should have just asked them for your email myself. But she said, that person told me, but they would just forward you. They would just forward you the evite so you have the information. And she was like, let me, check and see. So she, I guess, assuming, gets in contact with the other person. And lo and behold, I end up getting the forwarded email, the forwarded evite last Saturday for an event that's supposed to take place later this month. I get the evite last Saturday, and in the evite, because it was the evite was the original message, and then after the evite, there is a second email that says, hey, can you forward this email to me, asking the person to forward the email to me. And the third one, of course, was me getting forwarded. And I look at the dates were October of last year. So this person sat there, and had not my grandma gotten in contact with this person asking them about it, they would have never sent me the information. So this whole time, everyone's assuming I had the information, and I was making plans and arrangements to be there, and I knew nothing about it. And unfortunately, like at this time, it's too last minute because we're so short staffed at my job. Our PTO, like most of my family members, I'm the only one in my family other than my mother who works in healthcare. Everyone else has like office jobs, right? Most of my family works for the government, so they can put in their PTO and take their time off. But because we're short staffed where I work, our PTO is a first come, first served basis because we can only have so many people off at one time. So that weekend that those events are taking, first of all, I already have a weekend schedule because that's the schedule that I wanted. But even if I wanted to get someone to cover for me, there are already people scheduled to be off that weekend. So if I tried to put in PTO, it wouldn't be approved. So I'm not going to be able to go. Now, years ago, if that would have happened, I would have been upset. I would have literally gone from being angered to probably crying upset about that. And I would have been at that stage where I would have been forwarding that email to other people to show them what this person has done to me, just to try to get my side of the story out. But literally where I'm at in my life at this time, I have no desire to do that, right? Because that person knows what they did. I know what they did. They know what they did. And only they know why. And at this point, it doesn't even matter. I said, you know what? I'll be sure to be at the next one. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to make it to this one. But, I'll be sure to be at the next one. Which I don't really attend a whole lot of events and things anyways. Because I just the older I get, the less I like to have to make all those arrangements to have to be there. I mean, I'm the type of person, I'm such an introvert. I like the comfort of my home. I like things to be local. I'm the type of person where I remember even when I switched jobs, I moved apartment complexes to one that was close. I remember I had a friend who was like, where you lived was only 30 minutes away. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm thinking to myself every day, that's like 30 minutes there. That's like an hour of driving every day when there's a perfectly nice set of affordable apartments that are right down the street. I am that person where I love convenience, right? I want to be able to get home as quickly as possible. So, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But I'm literally at a point in my healing stage where things that would hurt me in the past don't even affect me now. But you know what? It's crazy because the person, this particular, and this is not even the first time this person has done something like this. It's not even the first time. But it's crazy because, when people who have more than you are jealous of you, that truly shows that person sees your favor. You know what I mean? And when I say more than you, I say it with like air quotes, because when I say more, I mean material things. Like a lot of people assume that they're better just because they have more material possessions than you. And they can try to act like they're better all they want. But the reason why these people who have more material possessions than you are still jealous of you is because they know that you have favor. They know that you have favor, and they are jealous of that favor that you have. And when you come to realize that, I'm telling you, no matter what these people do, it's not even going to affect you anymore. Okay? You're going to get to that point in your healing stage where you are going to be able to categorize people's actions in tactics versus sincerity, where you're going to know whether when people are doing things, it's sincere and from the kindness of their heart, or if it's merely a tactic and a ploy, right? But at the end of the day, the only person that these people are screwing over are themselves. Because the more they continue to do things in order to bring you down, the more negative karma they're bringing on themselves. And once you get to that point where you are able to sever those ties, even if it's family members, easier to do with exes, a little more difficult, but still doable with friends. But when it comes to those family members that you sometimes have to still deal with to a certain extent, once you learn how to sever those ties to where their tactics are no longer swaying you emotionally, I'm telling you, your journey is going to soar. And these people no longer being under your umbrella of blessings and protection are only adding to the karma that they are going to have, the negative karma that they are going to have to reap because of the negative seeds they have sown. But at the end of the day, these people are going to learn one way or another that they are fumbling their blessings when they're fumbling you.